Welcome back to the channel. I am back in the shop today. I've got the 2023 Ford Bronco Wildtrak here with me. This video, I'm just gonna kind of walk you guys around this particular Bronco build. You know, on my channel, if you've been around for a little while, you know that I do lots of installs on the Broncos. This one's been, you know, apart, back together several times. I just did a video covering the fenders that's on here. And, you know, in doing all this content, you know, I post a lot of it on my Instagram, and I'll get sort of questions about like specifications, about wheel offsets, and just, you know, questions about like the sliders, just a bunch of general questions about the stuff that I have on this truck. Honestly, a very minimalistic build. All of the suspension is all stock underneath. It's just a lot of cosmetic stuff. I let you guys kind of see them visually, and then hopefully maybe answer some of those questions about the spec. Starting up front, these are the FUNHAVER off-road fiberglass fenders. They are, in my opinion, one of the best looking kits for the Bronco. The wheel openings are, you know, really large. It's got more of a Baja kind of feel to it. They allow you to run a lot larger diameter tire without having to lift it if you don't want to. Out back on the fenders, they have sort of like this real racy kind of vibe, and like I said, I really dig the vibe and feel of those fenders. Moving on to the hood, this is actually the factory hood, but it does have an APG carbon fiber finish plate. This is a heat extraction hood, so it is a functioning heat extractor from the engine bay out the top of the hood. Again, trying to, you know, reduce those hot engine air temperatures underneath the hood and engine compartment, so air flows through the grill, transitions over the engine and out the top of the hood, thus preventing your engine from getting heat soaked as quickly if you're out playing on it pretty aggressively. Since we're up here at the front of the truck, at the front we have an Addictive Desert Designs front bumper with the light hoop. Inside the bumper, I've got 5 dual color Rigid Industries lights. I chose this bumper for a couple reasons. One, it looks rad. 2, it's lighter than the factory modular steel bumper. Again, just trying to keep that sprung weight down, so that way the suspension performs and handles the way it's engineered to. Moving on to wheels and tires. These are a Raceline 17 by 8.5 machined wheel. They got a really cool vibe to them. I usually run a black wheel, and a lot of the reason why I went with this wheel is because when I stuck these fenders on, I felt like the wheels that were on here before were just not quite as aggressive enough to accommodate for the fiberglass. So this is a -12 offset rim. You know, 8.5 inches wide, 17 inches in diameter. And then the wheel is wrapped in a Nitto 35-12-50-17 Recon Grappler. This particular tire has been on the Bronco for, gosh, 30,000 miles now. Honestly, a great tire. I'm actually really enjoying this particular tire. I've ran pretty much every Nitto that they make, so this was a new one for me, and I like this tire a lot. It's really quiet on the road. It seems to do pretty well off-road as well. And you know, it just looks cool. Up top on the A-pillar, we've got some Rigid Industries 6-inch spotlights mounted to some Fast Intentions brackets. You know, again, just kind of giving me a little extra lighting when I'm on some of those darker trails. Plus, I work with Rigid, and you know, they just make phenomenal light, so it looks good to have those on there. Down at the rocker, we have a set of CBI off-road rock sliders. I've been running CBI armor since 2016 on various vehicles. On my last Bronco, I had their front bumper. On the last Bronco, I also had a pair of these sliders. And again, this is the second Bronco, second set of sliders that I've ran. I have banged the living hell out of these things, and they never skip a beat. In my opinion, they're probably the best looking slider for the 6th generation Bronco because they're up high and tight. Personally, I don't like a real gaudy, wide rock slider. So this has a really cool aesthetic, and they are extremely functional. And like I said, I've literally pivoted, you know, totally on of these sliders, and they've done their job to protect the side of the truck. Coming around to the back, again, we've got another Addictive Desert Design rear bumper. I think this is called the Stealth. I don't really know for sure. I will put the link in the description exactly what bumper it is. But again, high and tight, and inside the bumper, I got a set of Rigid Industries chase lights down low, so that way, you know, if I'm in some super dusty conditions, you know, drivers behind me know where I'm at all times and can see with some sort of colored lighting. And then kind of transitioning up on that bumper, Addictive Desert Designs, it comes with a license plate relocation bracket right below the grab handle on the door. I custom retrofitted another Rigid Industries chase light there, and then I also swapped out the factory third light mount with a SDHQ third light mount. And then again, I mounted some Rigid Industries chase lights on that as well. So Again, just kind of giving me more visibility for the drivers behind me if I'm in super dusty conditions. Out in the rear of the Bronco, inside the rear tailgate, I do have a goose gear tailgate table. This table is really cool because it's super quiet. There's no rattling on it, and it's all powder coated with a high-end finish. The table itself is a food grade stainless steel, and then it's got a bamboo cutting board. Just having some extra table space if you're either at camp, you have some place to cook, prepare some food, or I do a lot of editing, so I found myself sitting back here working on my laptop, which has been a really helpful tool back here. Up at the front on the dash, constantly on the road, and while obviously you're not supposed to play on your phone, it is nice to have a place to put my phone up on the dash for my maps and check some quick notifications or make some phone calls. I have an Expedition Essentials dash mount. This is a bolt-on part. It mounts to the accessory mount on the top of the dash, and then also mounts to 2 other places underneath the radio. Extremely secure mounting solution for the 6th Generation Ford Bronco. I've tried a couple different mounts as well. This, in my opinion, is the best one for the 6th Generation Bronco if you want a super sturdy and sexy and aesthetic dash mount to run cameras, your phone, tablet, whatever. On the front doors, I got a set of Deviate door pockets that's kind of got a MOLLE panel built into it. Again, just allowing a little extra storage on the side of the doors. I'll keep like some walkies there, knife. Sometimes I keep my pistol in there. Again, just a bolt-on part that allows a little bit more secure and robust storage solution on the side of your doors. I do have the Ford Performance door seals in this Bronco as well. Again, mechanically it does nothing for me. It just looks cool. It's a cool factor. And then I do have the Ford Performance carbon fiber kit, which is the 2 grab handles on the side of the dash and the one in the center too. Again, physically, mechanically, it doesn't do anything for me. It just looks cool, right? Up at the hood area, I got a couple Ford Performance parts. Unless you get a Bronco Raptor, none of the Broncos have gas hood struts. They all have a hood prop. So I opted to do the Ford Performance gas struts. That way the hood will automatically open and stay open by itself. So that's kind of just a cool, fun feature there when you're doing some service work. I do have the Ford Performance dual catch can setup as well. Again, that's a bolt-on part from FordPerformance.com. So again, just kind of catching some of those exhaust gas, oil vapors that are blowing by the top of the engine, creating a little bit more efficient motor. So that's on there as well. And then I also have the Ford Performance ARB dual compressor mount that goes up under the hood. What's really cool about all these parts is that they are factory engineered from Ford to mount and bolt directly into specific places and make sure that you have long-term reliability of all those components. That is it under the hood. Everything else is totally stock. And that's basically it, guys. I mean, like I told you, it's a very minimalistic build in my opinion. I kind of think that less is more sometimes. The suspension, everything underneath is totally stock. That is the factory Haas 3.0 suspension underneath it. It's the factory ride height. I'm not permitted to modify any of those things, so that's all stock underneath. Basically, some fiberglass, some lights, wheels, tires, bumpers, and sliders, and a dash mount. So that's really it when it comes to this particular Bronco build. I dig it. I think the vibe is really cool. It looks neat. It's definitely a head turner. If I'm at a gas station or something, it definitely draws a lot of attention. The Broncos in general draw attention, but obviously changing the aesthetic to it changes what people see when it pulls up to a gas station or something. So I dig it. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, just a quick video covering the 6th Generation Ford Bronco Wildtrak. We will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Boom.